Well, all right. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Hot Seat Automotive Podcast. It is your buddy CJ here, and tonight we're talking about all things automotive industry, the car guy hobby, cars, all the things that those real gearheads like talking about, real gearhead talk. You know this is the place to be for that real gearhead talk. Your buddy CJ is so grateful to each and every one of you. Welcome back to all my subscribers. If you're new, please give me a like and subscribe. Around here, guys, we talk about cars. We talk about the car guy hobby, automotive enthusiast stuff, exotic cars, supercars, muscle cars, classic cars, you name it, road trips, rallies, automotive events. We have fun around here, guys. And I wanted to come on here tonight just very quickly and talk about the topic of fad cars. What's a fad? A fad is something that comes in quick into the public consciousness and into consumer demand, right? And leaves just as quick. So for a moment in history, it is in style, it is in demand, it is the thing du jour, or the car du jour in this case. And then something happens and tastes change, usually pretty rapidly, okay? Or, something very specific causes an end to the fad. The point being, poof, the fad is gone. It pops. The balloon pops. It comes and goes like a wave on the sand. So we're not talking about, like, if you think about the Mustang, Ford Mustang came out in 1964, and it's still going strong in 2025. Corvette, Jeep, going back to before time, World War II history, and still a thing. Those aren't fads, right? Those were trendsetters and iconic, and they've lasted through the decades and the decades. Not so much with a fad. A fad comes and goes. And what's astonishing about a fad is that for a hot moment in history, and let's talk about the automotive hobby, the fad is a real thing, and it's hot. And I think one of the other interesting things about fads is that we forget, and certain people, depending on your age and whether you're a millennial or a Gen Z automotive enthusiast, you may never know about some of these fads. Some of these cars may seem completely whack to you, okay? And like, what is that thing? At one time, these were Motor Trend cars of the year, or these were super hot, and in demand by automotive enthusiasts, and don't let them forget it, and the public at large. So come on, let's get into it. I'm going to give you my top 3 fad cars over the decades, and I want you guys to check it out. But more importantly, leave me those comments. Let me know what your top 3 fad cars are. Which ones did I miss? Do you agree with mine? Come on, I'd love to hear from you. Let's get right into it real quick here. First, this is the ultimate example of a fad car. A fad car from the history of the automotive industry, okay? That came in like a lion and was, Motor Trend car of the year, and everyone wanted one of these, the PT Cruiser. This car really kind of ushered in that retro cool styling, but very quickly became uncool. And I think history has not been kind to the PT Cruiser. And I think if you ask any automotive enthusiast today, you got to twist their arm a bit to get them to admit that at one point, these were considered cool and in demand. And listen, you may not believe that, but I was there in like 1999, 2000, 2001. These cars were considered hot. I have friends. I had one friend who told me, CJ, he bought a PT Cruiser. And he said, CJ, I can go right from the grocery store to the car show with my PT Cruiser. I couldn't believe it. Like, to me, while I thought the retro styling was cool, I'll be honest, I was never really on board with these. And there's a whole slew of copycats, like the HHR. Remember the Chevy HHR? It's like a PT Cruiser, but worse. It's hysterical, right? But this car, to me, is the ultimate example of a fad. A car that was cool for a hot minute and then became very uncool very quickly. Come on, let's keep going. Guys, we're having fun tonight, as we usually do. Let me give you another one. Chevy Eurosport. As a matter of fact, General Motors Euro anything. What, they have the Pontiac Euro van? You know, this was a thing in the 80s where, with the advent and the oncoming demand, the growing demand in the US for cars from Europe, like BMWs and things like that, Mercedes Benz, General Motors, other Detroit manufacturers wanted to compete. So what they wanted to do with the consumer was to hit you over the head, telling you that the Chevy was now Euro cool. The Chevy Cavalier was now Euro chic. And what did they give us? They gave us the Eurosport, right? Which was anything but Euro cool and Euro chic. This was not a performance car. This had a lot of cladding on it and padding, but has almost become a caricature. I think the Chevy Eurosport in general, which is like a Lumina Cavalier type thing, is like a caricature of a European car in some ways. But it's just funny because think of it as an interpretation at a point in time of what Detroit thought was driving demand for European cars in the United States. It's kind of fascinating now, but and perhaps a bit of a joke to many automotive enthusiasts and students of the automotive industry. But guys, kind of fun to look back on it. This Eurosport thing, Detroit's version of European styling, that was a bit of a fad at one point in the 1980s. What do you think? Guys, let's keep going. I'm going to give you one more, and then I want to hear about your vote for the top fad cars of all times. Listen, Suzuki Samurais in the 1980s, for a hot minute, were super popular, super hot. These cars, mini Jeeps, baby SUVs, they were a fad, okay? Every high school kid wanted one, okay? Every teenage girl dreamed of having one of these and putting the top down, right? And the Suzuki Samurai was everywhere, out of nowhere in the 1980s. I remember this very vividly. And then you started hearing the reports of the rollovers, okay? And listen, what killed the Suzuki Samurai? The rollover. Higher center of gravity, short wheelbase, you know, perhaps not really well conceived or engineered, and then people driving them the way they really shouldn't have been driving them. A combination of a lot of inexperienced young teenage drivers in these things at that time kind of spelled disaster, and poof, the Suzuki Samurai fad was gone. They came out with other versions of this, and Geo and General Motors and others, you know, and Suzuki is alive and well today, particularly in other countries. But in the 80s, in the United States, Suzuki Samurai was a fad, make no mistake, and then poof, it was gone. Guys, that's about it for this episode. What do you guys think of my top 3 fad cars of all time? Do you agree with my list? If not, that's okay, but you got to tell me what's on your list. Guys, your buddy CJ loves you. I appreciate each and every one of you. Give me a like and subscribe. Leave me those comments. And until I see you on the next one, peace.